Hey guys, it's Alonzo Stanley with Bell Bank Mortgage, and welcome to Where to Start Today. We're going to be talking about renovation loans, and I've got three special guests. Dion Harris with EXP, Bobby Smith with Parks Realty, and our very own Dan Pinovich with Bell Bank Mortgage. He is over our construction lending, and we're going to just dive into it. So we're going to start with Dion, and she'll tell us a little bit more about, as a real estate agent, what she's seen and how you can benefit from renovating your property.
There. This is Dion Harris with EXP Realty, and I just want to thank Alonzo for inviting me to speak with you today. I'm going to talk to you a little bit about renovation. So I have been a realtor in the Middle Tennessee area as well as Georgia for going on 9 years this year. So I've seen hundreds, maybe thousands of homes. So I've kind of got my finger on the pulse of what people really like, what my buyers really like. And so it helps me make suggestions to my sellers. So the two things that sell a home are going to be the kitchen and the bathroom. Those are the two top things that people look at when they go into your home, especially the master bath. So what I'm seeing a lot of in the kitchens is granite countertops or quartz, either tile kitchen floors or that laminate plank, waterproof flooring, as well as, of course, freshly painted, maybe some decorative items, updated cabinets with nice pools on them, a nice backsplash, everything that's coordinating together and brings all the colors and warm colors together. So also painting the house, giving the whole house a paint job, and you can do it in what you see a lot is that agreeable gray, or maybe a tan or off-white, something very neutral so people can kind of imagine the home being theirs. In the bathrooms, I'm seeing the same thing. The walk-in showers with the tile, garden tubs, the tile floors, or like I said, the laminate plank floors, and just some paint. Everything needs to be decluttered and cleaned out. So what I'm seeing is when people renovate their homes, it adds a lot of equity. So it might cost you maybe $10,000 or $15,000 to do a renovation, and then that can add upwards of $40,000 and $50,000 onto the value of your home. And so you can squeeze as much equity as you need to out of that house to get into something either bigger or smaller, whatever it is you're looking for, but you want to get the max dollar out of that. So I'll let Alonzo take it away to tell you how you can get that done. Thanks for taking the time to hear me out, guys.
Thanks, Dion. Next, we have my guy, Bobby Smith. He's with Parks Realty, and we met at a coffee house, Just Love, here in Murfreesboro, and just had a conversation about real estate and particularly renovation. So check it out. Tell us who you are.
Who am I? Of course, Bobby Smith, with Parks. Of course, I started the residential real estate part of real estate, in 2003, right after MTSU.
Okay.
And started on the residential side and, worked with buyers, sellers.
Gotcha.
Everybody, coming to the Middle Tennessee area before it's this new Nashville, this new Middle Tennessee.
You know it.
So, of course, I always enjoyed the process of helping people buy and sell the house. So
I see you kind of branched out a little bit as of late, doing more kind of in the renovation space.
Yeah.
Tell us about that a little bit.
So probably, I think it's 4 years ago, I started Real Estate Solutions Today with my wife, partner, boss, Talisa.
Yeah.
We started that as an arm of the residential part. People want to get into it because there is a space in real estate that regular real estate agents can't help.
Okay.
And it gets to a point where most real estate agents, if they can't help you list the house and get it on the market for sale, if it's not market ready, they just don't deal with it and set it to the side. But those people still needed help.
Gotcha.
So I said, look, let me help those people as well and provide great local service to them as well. So,
So what are some of those services?
so walking them through the foreclosure process, walking them through like loan modification, those things. And sometimes, look, you might not need to be in the house anymore. So let me give you options to break away from the house and divorce the house, so you can start a new chapter, a better chapter.
Right.
So it's all of that, and it turns into us being investors and renovating houses, buying rental properties, and growing
Gotcha.
from that end.
So when you go in, tell me a little bit how that works. When you see a house, from walking in, you have to have a vision.
Yes.
So what's that process like?
Yeah, I've always started everything with keeping the end in mind.
Okay.
Because I kind of reverse engineer everything.
Okay.
So my wife Talisa, she's the designer and the end product that goes in. So she put that in my mind, like, all right, when I design a house, I want it to be this. So keeping that end in mind. So when you walk into a house, you're thinking, all right, it's going to be that and a quality finished product for whoever's going to buy it next.
Okay.
So walking into that and can see through walls, can see through trash, junk, disarray.
Gotcha.
So
Gotcha.
yeah.
So has it been fun working with your wife on that?
It has been.
Yeah. Challenging too, I'm sure.
It's challenging in its way of, like, I've been in real estate for so long, and now she's telling me what to do in real estate. But it's fun. We both have our own lanes.
Right.
I look at, analyze numbers and products and repairs and renovation, and she handles all of the fun, good design aspects.
So she having a good time.
Yeah.
That's
so
important.
both of us have a good time
Gotcha.
in it.
Gotcha. Well, question for you: do you ever work with clients that may find a house that's not, that needs work?
Yes.
Do they ever go in with a product that'll allow them to renovate and finance? Do you work with, and what's that process like? Have you worked with any lenders that have a renovation product where your buyer may buy and use that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sometimes I run into it. I have not actually
As much
done it with any clients.
Okay.
Because a lot of times they want to skip that process and just get the finish done.
Sure.
And sometimes I kind of steer them away from that because they don't know that process, and they can overspend and mess it up and put themselves in a worse position. So sometimes it's like, all right, I don't think that's for you.
Gotcha. Do you think there's a need for that type of product? If you had a lender that could come to the table and say, you're out there looking at, because inventory is what it is, and people want all that, but it might not be all that available. So helping that client see that vision of what they really want, but also being able to say, hey, you can get a loan with this company and still do all that stuff, especially with values. If it's, if there's issues where it's going to improve the value of the home, is that, you think it's a need or it could benefit from that?
Yes, I think it's a great need. It's a great need for that position that's from a lender in this space and time. Just from the aspect of somebody that come in and can guide them through the financial process of it. And come alongside me and Talisa or the lender and put the package together. Because the values right now, as we know, you might gonna have to fix up some things, or do some remodeling. So having a lender that put that remodeling in place as a package would be great for the consumers.
Gotcha. So that's what this class is about that we're doing. We're talking about remodeling and construction. So we've got a product that allows for the renovation. Minimum down is 5%, and that's the acquisition, and the remodel. You know what I mean? So the house is $200,000 and it costs $100. To get it done, we're gonna do 5% down to $300. Plus, so this kind of tells a little bit about that. Really excited about that product because typically, whose funds get tied up when you go in to do a project? You guys, if you find one, is it the seller, or do you put your as a company? Do you have to invest in
We
getting the
invest
house?
in-
Y'all invest.
yes.
So this might be an opportunity for y'all to free that up. You know what I mean? If somebody's ready to buy and they don't have, y'all don't have to worry about funding it. They got their own funds, and they can go in, and then we have contingencies there with your coaching and expertise and helping them, because we got to put the cost estimate, the budget together, all that good stuff. And then our team works along with you.
Okay.
And y'all don't have to come out of pocket.
And it's the actual
In loan too.
in loan, and it's for personal use, owner occupied.
Owner occupied. Yep. Owner occupied. Yep.
Yes.
Gotta owner occupied. So,
Okay.
but I think, let me look at my guides here, because I don't think we have this available. I'm pretty sure it's not for investment.
No.
I'll run that up the ladder though.
Great. Yeah.
But it's gonna be definitely it would be a larger down payment requirement.
Yeah,
I mean, 5% down. Get to buy a house, and most likely when you do this deal, you're gonna have a lot of more equity
because you voice appreciation.
Yep.
And by improving the property.
And there's a lot of things you can do, with this particular loan. If it's changing that green linoleum shower or whatever, or to something more up to date, you can make it your own, and that's what's exciting. I think.
I think I'm excited just hearing about it, and I'm glad you're introducing me to it, because having the consumer in mind, it's right along the need of that entry level market, that first time home buyer market, where 3 years ago we was everybody's buying out existing homes, and
now it's not there. And people don't want to fix up nothing. They don't have to. They can walk away from that house and get a good little grip from it. But now you can come in and make it without them having to dip in their own savings and stuff. Once they buy a house they don't really like, now you got a loan where you can get more of those repairs done and get it the way you want it without coming out of your pocket for that extra. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I like about that product. So, but yeah, man, I definitely appreciate you. Anything you like to share as far as who you are? Tell people how to reach you, man.
Okay, of course, Bobby Smith. On all social media is Blueprint to Soul is my handle, of course, for the residential side. Real Estate Solutions Today, LLC, on the investment side. Of course, you can contact me directly at all times on my cell phone, text message. I try to always pick up the phone unless I'm in a meeting. But 615-542-4587. Of course, Bobby Smith at Parks.
Okay.
Man.
Wonderful, man. I appreciate you. We're in the coffee house, got the coffee house effects going on in the back.
Yes.
But it's all good. Thank you again, man.
Thank you, man. Thanks for having me. Thanks for the connection.
All right. Gotcha. Appreciate your insight, Bobby, and sharing your experiences. Now we're going to talk about construction lending and renovation lending itself. I have our very own master expert of construction lending over our renovation and construction department here, Mr. Dan Penovich. He is a wealth of knowledge, and he took a little time to share a few things with me. So let's jump right into it. Looks like, okay. Hey there.
Can you hear me?
I can, yes. All right.
Okay.
Good.
All right.
No problem. We're thank you for your time.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So it's kind of appropriate because outside of my window, a couple doors down, they're doing some renovating, and I think they're cutting down some trees or something. And I got some background noise. I guess it's kind of suits the mood of this conversation a little bit.
Perfect. I love it.
So if you hear some craziness going on, that's what that is. So how's
all planned?
All right. So let's start, I guess, by telling people who you are.
Sure. Yeah. My name is Dan Penovich. I am with Bell Bank Mortgage. I'm the construction lending sales manager here at Bell. I've been in this role for the last 10 years. My background really is everything construction. So I started my career back in 1989 selling new construction. Did that for about 5 years or so. So I really got, kind of bit by the bug of new homes and construction and all of that. And then I had an opportunity to move over into the financing side in about 1995 or so. I did that and basically have been financing construction or teaching others to finance construction ever since.
All right. So a lot of great experience, and I plan on, I'm glad that he's letting me utilize it and take advantage of it. I tell you, I've worked in lending for about 20 years and done some construction, done some the FHA 203Ks, but I have to say it hadn't been my specialty until now, and I'm very comfortable here at Bell, so thank you again for your time. So what are some advantages of renovation loans here at Bell Bank? What are some opportunities where that might be a good fit, you think?
Sure, yeah. The first thing is everything is all in-house. So Bell manages the project itself from the financial side, from the financing side, the underwriting, the processing, your origination activities, everything is held in-house. And that's a huge advantage and benefit over a lot of other lenders, our competitors of ours. We have a full spectrum of construction lending options, so that would include the renovation and remodel, which is the main focus of our discussion here, but also new build, tear downs, lot loans as well. So we really cover the full spectrum of what a customer might need. And then there's Bell's reputation. We have been lending literally since 1880, as hard as that is to believe. But in the markets that we're in, we carry the reputation from the Twin Cities and Fargo with us, and that's really our primary goal, is to make sure that your clients are handled and serviced in the same manner we have in our entire existence. So that's really at the core of everything of what we do.
All right, wonderful. And I will have to say, I always tell people, check my LinkedIn, where I've been. I've been at a few places over time. I've never been happier. It's true what they say, happy employees, happy clients, happy customers. And so my confidence level here at Bell is through the roof. So with this particular option in lending, I've specialized a lot in the first-time home buyer programs, things of that nature, which we have great products there as well. But how is this different or more challenging? Some people don't even really give renovation a thought or look because they think it might be complex. What would you say to that?
Yeah, it's a very interesting dynamic right now because of the environment that we're in across the country. Existing homes, the inventory for those is very low, so it makes it very challenging to find a property in an area that you'd like to own in. And as a result, we have a lot of clients that are choosing to stay put, but they want to enhance their enjoyment of their property. The family may have grown, they may be matured a little bit and they have different ideas. So they would like to look at enhancing their existing home, and our programs, whether it's our Bell Rehab option or a full-blown major renovation, we've got the tool to manage that from the smallest project all the way up to a loan size of about $3 million. So we've got plenty of capacity and spectrum there. And the biggest advantage then to the client is being able to stay in a familiar area, maybe keep their children in the school district that they're comfortable with and enjoy, stay closer to family and friends that they've developed over the years, but to upscale or upgrade their living arrangement. And that's really what it's all about. Yes, it is a challenging enterprise to be involved in because there's a lot that goes into it, but the net result at the end is generally well worth the effort going into it.
So, and I appreciate that. It does have, a mortgage, purchasing or refinances constitute several steps. There's a process that you have to go through, and there obviously are going to be some additional steps. However, from my experience at Bell, the team and the support are there to help walk them through, just like this conversation here. I know that I have a team dedicated to help out during this process. So very confident that we can do what I like to do, is close on time with less stress. And so we've been able to do that here.
Exactly.
All right.
Yeah, to that point, Alonzo, we've got myself on the front end. I'm here to support you and your client base, which would be your borrowers or your realtors or your contractors. But then we have an entire construction department behind us that supports us during the project, helps us manage the project, keep track of payments and lien waivers and all of the things that many people just aren't familiar with or are not aware that is a part of new construction. So full support all across the spectrum from them.
And with that in mind, one thing as we start this process, my goal is to tee it up for the clients, tee it up so they'll know what to expect. What are some of the obstacles or some of the hurdles that you may find that can slow things down sometimes in this process?
Yeah, I think there was an old football coach, and I don't remember who it was, but he said, plan your work and work your plan. And that's really very, very critical in a construction transaction. I think the first thing a consumer has to do is establish their priorities. Do they need more square footage? Are they simply looking at upgrading the amenities of their home? Are they looking at a different look or a completely different floor plan? All of those things are important to sit down and decide on kind of a pros and cons or a wish list, what's most important, and then to start work towards understanding what all of that means. And then, probably the biggest challenge you have is determining who you want to do this for you. What contractor are you going to find that you're comfortable with, you're familiar with their work, you understand the reputation, and you're confident to the degree that you can be on the front end that it's going to result in what you want to have as your dream for that renovated home or rehabilitated home.
Thank you. So appreciate your input on that. Now, when we're looking at this from a purchase, in markets like we're in, because value is obviously escalating quite a bit. People being priced out, in a lot of, especially existing properties, they're selling without the property being in a condition to sell or ideal, because they're getting pretty much the value or that is listed as a purchase. And I sat down with a real estate agent that specializes in purchasing and basically flipping homes. And our conversation was, why can't we use this product? Individual can put as little as 5% down. That is cost plus acquisition of the property. Whereas, a lot of people may think it costs a lot more to invest, that you have to have much more to invest in this type of product. And that's really what I want to kind of hit on was, how can we use this tool from a purchase perspective, or
That's a great question, and it is a bit of a challenge in the market today. So as an example, if you have some clients that have been out looking for a while, maybe they've been the second or third offer on a property because of multiple offers, and they just weren't quite comfortable going as high as what was inevitably accepted by a seller. You have to understand that the environment right now is such that more than likely for a reasonably conditioned property, they'll pay a premium for that property today. And on a purchase transaction, that makes what we do a bit more challenging if you're only looking at doing cosmetic improvements, as an example. So if you're just looking at painting and replacing carpet and things like that, that's not necessarily going to translate into enhancement to the value. However, if you're going to do more structural and fundamental things to the home, where you're going to completely redo the kitchen, maybe you're going to add square footage and enhance the size of the family room in the kitchen, maybe add bedrooms or bathrooms, now that becomes a much more feasible cost and value expectation. A lot of it still does depend on what will the neighborhood withstand as far as valuation. There's instances, we call it over improvement for the area. If you go into a neighborhood that maybe has a cap of $300,000 to $400,000, you try to put a home in there that's going to cost $700,000 or $800,000, that'll be a challenge from the appraisal standpoint. But we need to be mindful of that on the front end, be prepared for that so that we can make good, solid decisions.
Gotcha. Thank you. All right. So in this process, there's a couple of things that happen. Say we get to the point we close the deal. Now, again, if we're doing a renovation on a purchase, we're buying the home. We have to have several things in place. We have to have plan, specs, estimate, contractor, those things already ahead and reviewed. The appraisal will happen based on future value, and then we close. Right. So what's the process like after closing, withdrawals? How does that typically work?
Sure. It's standard, just like a new construction home, in terms of we will disperse based on progress of the project. So the contractor will submit a request for funds from us based on work that's been completed. But we also understand we're in a unique environment in that regard as well. So if the contractor needs funds for deposits for cabinets, as an example, or for pre-purchasing certain items because the lead time is so far out into the future based on supply chain issues, we'll be able to accommodate that. And from the bank's perspective, we simply look at what is our overall lending exposure relative to the completion status on the home, and we kind of make a case-by-case or a draw-by-draw determination on where we're at. What we can't do is prepay for labor. So in other words, if there are phases of the project that aren't complete yet, that are primarily labor-focused, that's something that we wouldn't do on the front end, and that's a protection, quite frankly, for the bank as well as your customer.
Gotcha. Thank you. So again, it's a lot of information. Don't expect to cover everything here in this time that we've had with Dan, but we wanted to just kind of introduce this option for purchase as well as for refinance. If you're thinking about even, maybe you're planning on staying in your home a few more years, but know you may be getting ready to sell and want to go ahead and fix it up and stay a little while. This is a good resource to have so your home can be sale ready a little bit quicker to be able to utilize some of that equity as well.
That's right.
Okay.
That's probably the biggest advantage for the program today is in the refi space, simply because you've got a situation where more than likely you've got some equity that allows us to put a financing structure together that, quite frankly, may result in not needing any cash out of pocket in order to put that transaction together. All depends on how much they owe and how much the future value of the property will be after the improvements have been completed. And again, we, as you mentioned earlier, we determine all of that on the front end with the original credit package and the appraisal of the future value. And we can have all of that predetermined so that we can go into it with our eyes wide open, and in the right situation, it can be a very inexpensive option from the financing side.
I appreciate that insight as well. Dan, do you have any other thoughts about the process? And I know we're here in Tennessee and kind of a new market for us here, getting the word out. It's been fun. I'm driving around in this big truck trying to put the word out about Bell. But any advice for us here?
Yeah, I think the one thing, we talked a little bit about over-improvement, but that's something that gets determined and resolved on the front end. But the other thing for the common consumer that maybe hasn't been involved in something like this in the past is these projects can be complicated. Anytime you're taking an existing structure and tearing it apart, getting into the guts and bones of it, you can come across surprises. So that shouldn't be something that scares you off, but just be aware that things like that can occur. Be prepared for that. In our rehab loan structure, we actually have a contingency piece that is a part of that loan structure for just such an event. But do understand that things come up, and whether it's a mold remediation issue or rodent damage or structural issue, all of those things more than likely can be addressed, and we can come to an amenable solution there, and we can still keep the project on task.
Gotcha. So again, this product is available to clients that are living in a single family residence, owner occupied, or second home, I do believe. Correct? Is that possible?
That's correct.
Okay. Gotcha.
That's correct.
All right. Very good. I again appreciate your time, and thank you for helping me with this little project. And we appreciate it.
My pleasure, Alonzo, and it's great to have you on Bell's team.
All right. Have a great day.
All right, thank you.
Wow, thanks, Dan, for all that information, as well as my guests, Dion Harris, Bobby Smith, and I appreciate you guys for checking it out. Hopefully this gives you a little bit more insight into what it takes and what to look for and think about when renovating your property. So we also, as mentioned, we have a great tool, a tool that will allow you to finance up to 95% on a purchase to renovate the property. And if you'd like more information, again, you've tuned in to Where to Start today. Download the app at startwithbell.com. And if you don't have it already, we're also featuring this resource, this video, on the app or within the body of the app, as well as a lot of other useful tools that we have now and it coming in the future. So have a great day. Thank you so much. Alonzo Stanley, as we used to say, peace, deuces. Have a great day.